Hello everyone and welcome back to the 3T Path channel. My name is Giridhari and today we have to talk about a heavy topic, but it's a topic that a lot of people ask me about. It's an important topic to hear spiritual perspective from, to hear the yoga perspective from. We're going to be talking about suicide, euthanasia, and orthotanasia, which is a little less known. So first, suicide. Now, why is suicide a bad idea from the spiritual point of view? Well, the idea is we have a certain karma, and we've been given this karma for a good reason. This is a lesson plan that we were given by nature, by God, to be able to progress both morally and ethically in terms of dharma, but also to be able to progress in terms of spiritual enlightenment, things to challenge us, to break our attachment to material reality, to wake us up. So a lot of times when life is going badly, when life is tough, when we're facing really tough challenges, the kind of challenge that would make somebody consider suicide, well, those challenges are there to slap you in the face and wake you up, and it's not pleasant. Nobody likes, being slapped in the face. Nobody likes suffering. I certainly don't like it. I get it. It's not nice. But sometimes we need that. For example, when you're having a bad dream, if you had that bad dream when things get really bad, like you're falling off the building, then you wake up. And so there is this spiritual element in life, sometimes in karma, like make it really bad so you wake up. So you look around and say, wait a second, what am I doing here? Who am I really? And then you begin your spiritual journey, and then you become, you open the pathway towards enlightenment. So whatever is going on, it will push you towards that realization, even when things get tough. When things are too comfortable, actually, the tendency is for us to become, comfortable and not think about spiritual life. And we see this all the time. The rich and famous usually don't become very spiritual. In richer countries, there's less spirituality than in poorer countries. I mean, this is just the way it is. When there was a disaster, a horrible thing, like 9/11 or a war, then people become very religious and spiritual. When everything is going fine, people become less. This is just like a well-known sociological fact of life. So this happens. So we need I know it's tough, it's hard, but that's what we need. And the problem with suicide specifically is that this human birth is very rare. It's a wonderful, rare opportunity. It's like winning the lottery like 5 times in a row. I mean, look how many living creatures there are out there. There are so many living creatures, and each one of those living creatures, whatever biology says, that is alive, that is a soul. It's a body. It's a soul that got that incarnation. And so how many? There's just, gazillion souls just in this little planet. But how many of them are in a human body? So, 8 billion. But that's not much at all. I mean, there are, 8 billion insects just like in, a mile around you, or probably less, So there's so many births, and you got a human birth, so very special. And then to destroy this means to actually worsen the karma. See, that's the problem. We're already here because we've been silly. We're already paying for our crimes, as it were, for our bad choices. And then by committing suicide, you're destroying this valuable human body and making it even worse for you in the future. It's like a person who's in jail and they're already paying they're living out their sentence, but then they commit a crime in jail. They kill some other inmate, and then their sentence gets extended. That's how it works. That's how bad it is. Now, of course, if certainly if it's you considering suicide, or if anybody reasoning won't work. It's not about reasoning. When our brains get to that point, the wiring is messed up enough that reasoning won't do the trick. So, of course, don't depend on any arguments or reasoning that I'm giving here. But really, we have to seek out help. We need counseling. We need, there are ways out of the dark hole that would make somebody consider suicide. So that's what we need is counseling and help, and not, of course, depending on just arguments. But anyway, so do seek help if you know anybody, or certainly if you're considering it. Now, what the other topic we're covering is euthanasia. It's all about dying. That's the topic today. So euthanasia, of course, we don't want to see a loved one suffering. So especially when it's our pet, so we think, oh, better to kill it now so they won't suffer. I totally get it. I hate suffering as much or more than anybody else. I prefer death to suffering any day of the week. Sure, no problem. But usually the right thing isn't the easy thing. And we don't have the right to take anybody's life, even for a good cause like that. Oh, they're suffering. That's why I want to kill you, because you're suffering. But we don't have the power to give life. Only God has that power. So we can't exercise that power to take life unless it's for, self-defense, unless we're threatened, unless it's like other reasons for it, but not just to be nice to that person. Just to be nice to you, I'm going to kill you. I get it again, but that is not correct. So we shouldn't practice euthanasia. Now, what we should practice is something people don't talk about much, which is orthotanasia. Orthotanasia means that you don't artificially or, in an invasive way, extend life. So you've seen that, like with all the machines breathing for you and breathing your heart, you can't, that's called dystonasia, by the way. It's like you're extending life too much. So that's not natural either. So we want is neither like to reduce life artificially, nor to extend life artificially. We want the middle path, and that's called orthotanasia, which means to, make sure the death comes naturally, but at the, the best way possible, with all the help and support and anything you can do for that natural death to come, at the right time, but in the easiest form possible, with the least amount of suffering possible. That's what we should aim for with family, with ourselves, with pets, with everything. Just aim for orthotanasia. Okay, so those are the heavy topics we're covering today. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave any questions you may have below. And that's the idea. The idea is life is very sacred, and we are actually not our bodies. We're going through these experiences, so we shouldn't shorten the experience artificially, nor prolong it, but we should live our life, and make the most of it to advance spiritually and in terms of consciousness in general. Well, that's it for today. Have your rest of the day with lots of peace and lots of love. Hare Krishna.